Hello, my favorite subject, nutrition and physical fitness. So today we're going to discuss the relationship between the two and how many of us get in stuck patterns with poor eating habits, poor nutrition, not eating the right things, overeating, overindulging, too many calories in and not enough output, right? So we always think that we get enough exercise. It's 80-20, 80% of your lifestyle is your diet and nutrition, as well as your lifestyle in terms of stress management. How are you managing the stress? All right, so it's 80% all that, and only 20% is physical fitness. However, you do need to have a nice physical fitness regime every single day, doing something. It doesn't have to be cardio every day, and it doesn't have to be yoga every day. So a nice moderate plethora of diversity within the different genres of physical fitness. And why? Well, because you need to do muscle confusion, you need isometric contraction where you have sustained contraction, you need to do cardio to improve your lung capacity and cardiac output, you need to do balancing and stress management with yoga, and you need core work to support your back and really support your posture, especially if you have a very sedentary lifestyle. And that can only be resolved through the classic Pilates exercises, which many people are not aware of, but I highly support. And of course, on the side, as you all know, I teach Pilates and yoga. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of nutrition and physical fitness. So basically, you should have at least a regular physical activity schedule. And it should be like brushing your teeth. It should be a little bit every day. It's not how much, it's how long or the frequency, and sustaining this exercise no matter what, even through the holidays, which we all know can be very challenging. So it is the diversity. It's not how long, but it's how frequent you do it. All right. How much time you put into it, that's your choice. But the frequency, time doesn't have to be a lot, but the frequency, doing it every day and having a diversity of different exercises alongside your nutritional regime to make sure that you are getting the optimal nutrition, as well as eating the right foods that are not going to be unhealthy for you and maintain your weight. Okay, it's not about a diet, it's about maintaining a diet or a nutritional plan that can be sustained for the rest of your life. If you think that you're going to be able to do just one type of diet, for example, everyone wants to do the different types of ketone diets, right? Or low carb diets. The best diet, honestly, is the Mediterranean diet because it is a well-rounded diet. It is, if you eat it in the right portions, a good amount of healthy food. And if you're alongside of it, if you are exercising, it should not cause any weight gain. The contributory factors with everyone is the sedentary lifestyle. A lot of us have desk jobs. Every hour, you need to get up and do some sort of exercise. If you're working from home, you're going to try to at least walk 3 times a day, work your way up to 3 miles. Just saying, these things will help you in the long run. So a healthy personal exercise program that combines a plethora of different types of exercises. So you need strengthening. And if you're at an age where I am, 50 and up, you don't need heavy weights, light weights to maintain muscle tone. You need some aerobic activity, maybe 3 times a week. And you need the core work, such as Pilates, balancing, and stress relief through yoga. And so if you could do all that, even if it's just half an hour or 20 minutes every single day, you're good to go. Now, the physical activity recommendations are specific guidelines that have been established and are scientifically sound. And the guidelines are basically that if you are going to start a regime, you're going to work your way up. We're not going to make you do this right away, but you will work your way up to either 150 to 300 minutes a week of moderate intensity aerobic activity. Now, if you haven't exercised in 20 years, you would probably benefit from a personal trainer, yoga Pilates instructor, or some kind of instruction to slowly work your way up into that fitness category where you want to be. Now, vigorous, intense aerobic activity, typically 75 minutes or maximum 150 minutes a week. All right. So the other option is starting off with just very light to moderate exercise and then working your way up to that aerobic physical activity. But again, you need to sprinkle it out and don't do it just in one day, maybe 3 days a week of cardio. And if it's, you're going to start at 75 minutes a week, spread it out. Okay, 3 times a week, divide 75 minutes, and you're good to go. All right. Same thing with, for example, if you want to start a yoga regime, people think that they could jump right in and it's just stretching, it's easy. No, you're going to be sore. And yes, there's isometric contraction. And yoga is actually, I would say, gymnastics for adults, okay? Because you're using strength, isometric contraction, isotonic contraction, you're using balance, and you are using movement. And you have to work your way up to being able to complete a yoga practice that's 1 hour. So in the beginning, if someone is a beginner in the world of yoga, I would say twice a week, start with yoga 1 hour and start with a nice easy class like restorative yoga and work your way up to hatha yoga, vinyasa flow yoga. And if you're really young in your 20s and 30s and you're fit, then you can try the Bikram yoga, hot yoga, or the Ashtanga yoga, which is quite vigorous. But again, it depends what age you are, what fitness level you are, what is your weight, and there are modifications to be introduced. And if you're obese, Ashtanga yoga is definitely not where you want to start. You want to start with a nice, simple restorative yoga using props. Iyengar yoga is a type of yoga which has to do with alignment. So if you're into kinesiology and body alignment and movement science, then Iyengar yoga is a nice category. So let's talk about the other moderate exercise that works your core, Pilates. I highly recommend it for women in menopause because of the need to support the pelvic floor, support the core, create the posture that you want, create long, lean muscles, and increase the pressure on the bone. It's the law of action, reaction, Wolff's law, whereby when you put pressure on bone, then bone grows more bone. And so when muscle is sustained contraction, such as in yoga and Pilates, isometric contraction, this is very beneficial to increase bone density. So yoga and Pilates is extremely beneficial for women in menopause, but being careful with yoga, certain forward bends, and you don't want to do too many extreme back bends, because if you have vertebrae that are osteoporotic, all right, that can lead to little micro fractures. So these are things that I have seen over the years with injuries from the practice of yoga, and where older people are not mindful and go and take Ashtanga yoga thinking they're still 20. All right, moving on. This is a chart that I have here, a pyramid. This is from Elsevier. And so Elsevier Learning has this chart, and I don't take credit for it. Copyright 2022. So This is level 4, where unfortunately 40% of Americans are at. Watching TV, playing video games, surfing the internet, all that, right? So this leads to no good. Osteoporosis, heart disease, high cholesterol, plaque formation, hypertension, diabetes, etc. Now, you can start off with stretching, plain old stretching, but I like yoga because it connects the breath with the stretching. So yoga is movement with breath awareness, as well as a guided meditation at the end, which provides a very holistic practice that is both fitness and wellness. You have movement, you have utilization of muscles that are isometric and isotonic contraction, as well as that breath awareness, increasing your lung capacity, and of course the wellness aspect, diminishing stress through guided meditation, laying down in supine position, which is called yoga nidra. So you could start off twice a week if you're just starting from being a couch potato, and work your way to 3 times a week, and eventually you can do a practice every single day. The typical way that I advise students and my clients is that when you're holding a yoga pose, you take 4 deep breaths, which when you think about it, 4 deep breaths comes to about 15 to 30 seconds. Unlike regular stretching, there's no sets, there's sequencing. So you might want to try a yoga teacher. Hey, you can hire me for that. Or look at my old YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. All right, now muscle fitness, you probably want to hire a physical fitness trainer, a personal trainer. I like to do light weights, and 2 to 3 times a week is pretty much the max. You don't want to overdo it, especially if you're middle-aged. Now, cardio is super important. So whatever kind of cardiovascular exercise you prefer, please find your passion, whether it's hiking, dancing, swimming. It could be just simple walking or jogging, fast walking. All those will increase your heart rate. Okay. Now, the lowest level 1 is the walk, but that's more of like a regular slow walk, not the fast walking that you see, or the, jogging or any of that. So that's level 2. Now, some people don't want to do a formal type of exercise. So you might want to just get out there and start some gardening, or take a long walk, play golf, things like that are level 1. All right, I think I beat that to the ground. So let's keep going. Now, the benefits of physical activity, obviously we reduce the risk of heart disease. We improve cardiac function. We reduce cholesterol levels. We raise the good cholesterol and diminish the bad cholesterol, LDL, improve oxygen capacity, oxygen carrying capacity, because you're going to increase your red blood cell formation, which therefore increases hemoglobin transporting the oxygen. Your lung capacity increases as we practice cardio. We reduce the blood pressure. We improve insulin levels, or the action of insulin, I should say. And you could actually reverse diabetes through diet and through exercise, and avoid taking pills. Now, if you're insulin dependent diabetic, that is not relevant, but I'm talking about the obesity induced diabetes type 2. All right, so regular exercise with a reduced caloric intake will guarantee you body weight loss. There is no easy way out of this. You need to increase your exercise and decrease your caloric intake. All right, so lower the amount of food, maybe eat half of a plate instead of the full plate. Weight-bearing exercise, as I mentioned before, reduces osteoporosis, increases bone density, and is great for people in menopause, for women in menopause. And men, obviously, as they age, also need to maintain their bone mass. Exercise improves your mood because it increases your happy hormones and your neurotransmitters that make you happy and reduce depression. Now, again, these are the types of exercise you would want to do. Resistance training, aerobic exercise, weight-bearing exercise, your activities of daily living, including gardening, for example, and then what you really want to avoid is any kind of sedentary behavior. If you have sedentary behavior, like you have a desk job, then you need to mindfully continue a practice of each hour that you're sitting, get up after the hour and find some form of exercise for 10 minutes. So physical activity doesn't have to be on your own. You can find your personal needs with a personal trainer, get an assessment, your individual health, your current fitness needs, and also know what nutritional status is before you even begin. So what is your nutritional status before you begin a nutritional program? So that is something that you might want to consult with a nutritional specialist, a dietitian, and find out what are your levels of your hormones, what are your levels of certain hormones, and how is that impeding your health. Also understanding where your levels are with respect to your electrolytes and your entire landscape of what you're eating. So you would have to do a journal for a week, a food journal, so that we can actually determine what is missing from the diet. Now, when you're exercising, you want to achieve a pulse rate of 60 to 90% of the maximum heart rate. You always, always, always want to warm up. And I can't tell you how many people pull a hamstring because they don't stretch before and after exercise. The cool down should be a stretch and breath work. So the dietary needs during exercise are definitely more variable. So you need to make sure that, for example, I like to do collagen powder with a smoothie that includes a lot of my antioxidants in there, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. I do hemp milk. I put some of the farm-raised honey, and that's my smoothie with the collagen powder. And that gives me enough energy to sustain me for a lot of my cardiovascular exercise, as well as my yoga and Pilates exercises. So you want to have a nice balance of carbs and fats. And that's why I'm the one that will always recommend the Mediterranean diet, not only because I am from the Balkan region genetically. The most popular diet that physicians recommend is, to this day, still the Mediterranean diet. All right, now, general training diet, you're going to have some physical activity, athletic performance. You have to make sure that you provide yourself the calories for long-term energy usage. So if someone is a runner, you need to increase your carbohydrates and also your proteins before you work out. All right, so a proper diet is essential for the optimal performance. Fluid, so you got to really make sure that you plan your fluid intake before an athletic performance. And the caloric needs will rise before, for example, a marathon. So you can eat that plate of pasta, it's okay. So that's called carbing before a big run. Now, during the exercise, you need to have a very balanced diet of healthy fat like avocado, as you can see here. Antioxidants like blueberries, so fruits and vegetables. These are the healthy vitamins and minerals that can be found in fruits and vegetables and nuts. So these are the items that you want to look at when you want to have a nice balanced meal for your energy needs during exercise. So different levels of physical activity will draw on a variety of body fuels. So short-term burst of energy, you're going to first start off with the usage of carbs, and then sustained energy, you're going to work through all your carbohydrates. And you know, if you continue to exercise, you work through all the reserves. And if you are on a continued diet, you work through the fat reserves. So nutrition for training and competition is quite different, and I don't have time. It would take me an hour and another presentation to do nutrition just for training and competition. So for now, sustained activity, you'll need a longer time to have more energy usage. So therefore, a lot of the carbohydrates that we normally don't eat when we're more sedentary is acceptable when you're in a competition or in a marathon. So like I said, I don't know why, I just remember eating pasta before competition. So that's why I used to be a gymnast and I was Division I. So that was the way to go when it came to having energy for competition. All right, so we have the pregame meal, we have the nutrition during exercise, and we have nutrition after exercise recovery. And that's where like proteins, the collagen protein powders are amazing. With a nice shake, will replenish not only the protein, but also you're going to put in there all the different antioxidants, the fruits. And if you want, you could even put some avocado in there, some fats, healthy fat, and of course, making sure that you have your electrolyte rebalanced and your water for a recovery post-exercise. All right, moving on. Hydration before, during, and after is super important when you are exercising. So you want to have euhydration, which it means balanced hydration, 2 to 4 hours prior to exercising. So you want to drink anywhere from 5 to 10 milliliters per kilogram of body weight. So you can measure that. During the exercise, you want to continue drinking so that you prevent water loss. And then after exercise, you want to drink 16 to 24 ounces of fluid for every pound of body weight loss. And this is for, you know, athletic performance. I'm not talking about someone who is just exercising for 20 minutes. So ergogenic aids and misinformation is the biggest thing now. When it comes to athletic performance, we all know that many are using testosterone and other androgenic steroids, which leads to masculinization, male and female, increases gynecomastia, which is breast formation in males, liver abnormalities, plaque formation in the arteries, so atherosclerosis, atrophy of the testicles, because now you're taking in testosterone synthetically. So then if you're a male and female, your testosterone levels will go down and diminish. If you're a male, obviously the atrophy of the testicles and decreased sperm production is a huge change. Psychological effects, increased aggressive behavior. So things to know why not to do these androgenic steroids. All right, so yes, they do improve athletic performance, but these are the side effects. All right, so that is my presentation on health and nutrition and fitness and how it relates to our nutrition class. And for those of you on my YouTube channel that follow me with all my yoga classes and Pilates classes, I hope that this PowerPoint was useful to you. And if you want to utilize my services, you know where to find me. All the information is on YouTube, or you can go to lupafitness.com. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.